Sorry, that's upside down. Right, hello there everybody. Hello there everyone. And today I'm talking about is Woolworths coming back to the high street, and also these classic 80s forgotten horror classics. Yes, one here is called Frankenstein, but I'll explain about that later. That was actually a TV movie rather than a film released to the cinema. Prince of Darkness, which is a classic John Carpenter film. I don't know whether people remember this or not, but this one stars Donald Pleasance. And got Pumpkinhead here, The Dead Zone, and a collection of Stephen King novels that were brought out, based on Stephen King novels, I should say. Cat's Eyes, Silver Bullet, and Maximum Overdrive. So yeah, and also, I don't know whether any of you will remember, but Trolls and Trolls 2. Now, a lot of things have been said about Trolls 2, and a lot that doesn't need to be said, because apparently it's one of the worst voted horror sequels ever. But the first one is actually pretty decent. But anyway, I'll get into that all later. But first, is Woolworths coming back to our high streets? Well, way back in 2020, I think it was, there were some tweets going out saying that Woolworths was going to come back. That High Street was going to save, the Woolworths was going to save Christmas and everything was going to be fine. Tony Page, the then owner of Woolworths back when it collapsed way back in 2008, and it had over 800 stores, said that he was emotionally attached to it and has approached Sports Direct I think it was Sports Direct, I could be wrong about that, but said that he had approached the company that owns the Woolworths brand, Very.co.uk, because to use, one wonders whether they're going to use the name or not, because they're taking down the online website, the online Woolworths online website thing down, and he approached them to say that he wanted to know what they were going to do with the company because he still felt emotionally attached to it. So yes, I mean, I think this is an old story. I think it might be coming back. Who knows? I hope it does. I miss Woolworths. I miss Woolworths at Christmas. There's lots of old Woolworths adverts on YouTube you might want to go and check out. So yeah, so this could be an old story, I don't know. So yeah, go and check it out. Now to the main attraction, the horror movies. Now this first one, Trolls and Trolls 2, I don't know whether anyone remembers this, but yeah, the second one has received a lot of flack over the years, and there's been some documentaries made about it and various other, even books are wrote about it. It was directed by it was directed by an Italian, sorry, my correction, it's directed by an Italian, and no one, like the crew and all that, never spoke a word of English, only the actors, but apart from the costume designer, she spoke a little Italian phrases, but so yeah, it's been voted one of the worst horror films ever mentioned. But I want to talk about the first one, because the first one isn't actually too bad. It stars the little girl from V, The Final Battle, and the very first episode of the series V, who played Elizabeth, and actually the lady from Battlestar Galactica. She was also in Airwolf and a few other things. She's brown hair. She's a very pretty lady. I've quite a crush on her, actually. Yeah, so she stars in that. I can't remember her name, but yeah, I think you'd recognise her because she's been in lots of other things. She was also in an episode of The Incredible Hulk as well. She played the witch who was old at the beginning but then turned younger later. Yeah, and it's actually a really decent film. It's just such a shame it is such a forgotten gem, that Trolls and Trolls 2, but everyone remembers mainly Trolls 2 because of it being a worst film ever. So yeah, and then of course we got the 3 Stephen King novels here. Actually got 4 here. Got The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken. I don't know whether anyone remembers that. After a horrific car crash, high school teacher Johnny Smith, Christopher Walken, wakens from a 5-year coma with the ability to see people's future. The extrasensory perception enables him to avert several impending disasters and earns him celebrity status. But those missing years have cost him his job and his fiancée, and he longs for his former existence minus the new gift. This is until he meets the local politician, would-be presidential candidate Greg Stilson, Martin Sheen, and sees the future events of generally cataclysmic, I can't even say the word now, cataclysmic proportions. It's only then Johnny comes to terms with his powers, his conscience, and his destiny. Yeah, I don't know whether anyone actually remembers this one, but I haven't opened it yet. I will get round to watching it. It's actually, from what I remember of it, it's actually a pretty decent film. So yeah, so that's that one. These other three Stephen King stories is Cat's Eyes. Now this one stars Drew Barrymore, but she's at like the last segment. The Cat's Eyes is basically about this little cat trying to get to Drew Barrymore to save her from this little demon that hides in the floorboards of her bedroom. It also stars, I have to think now, it actually is told in 3 different stories. And so yeah, that's that one. Silver Bullets is about a pastor that turns into a werewolf. It stars Corey Haim. So yeah, that's Silver Bullet. And Maximum Overdrive is about a rogue comet that contacts with the Earth and the atmosphere, and it triggers a terrible reaction. It turns all the machines against the owners, and I think I remember this one because it has all the trucks all circling around this this diner, I think it is, and like these people are trapped inside the this cafe, and they want to go and get help, but they can't get any because all these things are. These trucks and everything are rolling round, circling round this diner. So yeah, that's that one. The next one is Pumpkinhead. Stars Lance Hreskin. Now you might, if you haven't seen this stars Lance Hreskin. What happens is his little boy gets killed when these rogue teenagers decide to play silly beggars on their dirt bike things, and the little boy goes and runs after his dog when the dog runs after the bikes, and of course Lance Hreskin finds the little boy and wants revenge for them killing his little boy. It was an accident anyway, but he doesn't know that, and he goes and seeks this witch doctor and summons up Pumpkinhead. It's actually quite a good story, and you might actually recognise one of the actors in this. He starred in DSC Quest DSV, the series, way back in the 90s. So yeah, I don't know whether anyone remembers that one or not, but it's actually pretty decent. The next one is Warlock. This stars Richard E. Grant and Jeremy Sands, I think. Hang on. Julian Sands, sorry. And Laurie Singer, which you might know the name because she was in Fame, the TV series. This is about a warlock that travels back in time to destroy whatever Julian Sands is up to, and saves the girl because she has a curse put on her when she's getting older. So yeah, that's that one. That's Warlock. Prince of Darkness. This is a classic John Carpenter story. I don't know whether anyone remembers this or not. It's basically about a priest, Donald Pleasance. He finds in the basement of a church this liquid, this cylinder of liquid, which is actually concentrated evil, and all hell breaks loose, and it's actually a pretty decent story. So that's Prince of Darkness. With this is the second time, actually the third time, Donald Pleasance has worked with John Carpenter, because the other 2 times was Halloween and Halloween 2. So yeah. Another classic is House. This was the first one of 4 different stories. The second one was a comedy. The third one was about a criminal who gets electrocuted in the chair, and if I remember rightly, he gets electrocuted by a chair and then haunts the detective who arrested him and his family. But this one stars William Catt. A writer moves into his old aunt's house and is haunted by the disappearance or thinking that his little son had died, but actually it turns out it was a ghost that trapped him, or he got trapped into a different dimension or something, and he has visions of his time back in Vietnam, and so yeah, this is actually a pretty good story, and the actor in it is actually in the series The Greatest American Hero, which you might have seen around. I don't know. But actually, in that he actually puts on a costume and tries to fly, but he can't actually fly. I don't know whether anyone remembers that one or not. And of course, there's that one. Now this one was a television movie, and it's called Frankenstein. This was shown on the 27th of December 1984. And actually, you'll be surprised who actually stars in this. You have Robert Powell, who played Jesus in Zeffirelli's Jesus of Nazareth, as Victor Frankenstein. Sir John Gielgud as De Lacy. The creature is played by the late great David Warner. Terence Alexander, who was in Bergerac and plays Charlie, he plays the dad. And most intriguingly of all, this actually stars Carrie Fisher, who you might know as Princess Leia from Star Wars. Now, this was her first ever British television appearance in on a proper regional TV movie. Now, back in the day, in the 80s, we had regional television, and we had Yorkshire, London Weekend, Thames TV, and all that. And this was actually produced by Yorkshire Television. And so yeah, this is a real classic film, and it's wonderful to see an American actress star in a British production. And Robert Powell goes from playing the big man himself, Jesus, to actually playing a man who thinks he is God and the big man. So, no offence. So no, this is actually a really good film, and David Warner is excellent as the monster. And you actually have another actor in this who was in a couple of Doctor Who stories as well. Honourable mentions should go to Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That was made in the 80s as well. That was the trailer that made the film actually look good, but actually it was the trailer that was good. Critters, if anyone remembers Critters. Gremlins started a whole new little thing of little green goblin creatures, and so there was Critters and there was Ghoulies. Ghoulies Go to College and those sort of films. So yeah, so there's honourable mentions. Oh, and Slaughter High, which my sister's friend Mary Teresa used to rent from the local video shop, and they used to rent it and watch it at home because that was made in the 80s as well. Dishonourable mentions must go to The Evil Dead. Now, I'm really not sure about these films because a while back I had a box set of banned 80s, or whether it was made in the 80s, I don't know, banned films, because way back in the 80s we had no video classification like PG, 15, 18, and a lot of the videos were coming out were really cheaply bad made horror films, all blood and guts and gore just for the sake of blood, guts and gore. And there was a whole box of banned horror films. One of the films in that box set actually stars an actor who actually appeared in a Peter Davison Doctor Who story. I can't remember what it was. I think it was about zombie cannibals, and I think halfway through the film I had to turn it off because I just thought, no, this is not me. But I did enjoy I Spit on Your Grave, the original, which is basically about a woman getting her own back on all these men who sexually assault her, and she chops one man's thing off. So yeah, so I did enjoy that one. Not for that, you understand, but because the woman gets revenge on those who hurt her. And I'm all for, women. Anyway, dishonourable mentions should go to, and I know it's not a 90s film, but The Human Centipede. Now, I've heard some horrible things about this film, and strictly not an 80s, forgotten 80s classic, but I have no desire at all to see this film at all. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Short and sweet and to the point. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope, we're hoping, fingers crossed, Woolworths is coming back. So who knows? So yes. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to do some more like this later on, like forgotten TV dramas. So yes, so I hope you've enjoyed this one. I don't know what I'll decide next week. I'll decide later on what I'm doing for next week's video. I'll let you know. But anyway, in the meantime, enjoy all my other videos that I've put up. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I shall see you all next week. See you later. Bye bye.